Many intelligence experts as having hallmarks,
all the hallmarks of a Russian
disinformation
campaign.
This is a classic example of the right-wing media machine.
Well, unlike wine, it turns out that clip did not age as well. But I digress. That was about a specific laptop belonging to a specific individual left somewhere in Delaware. This is just one little form of misinformation, if you want to call it that. Maybe you think it didn't pan out that way, but I digress. I believe it did. In my opinion, I think it worked out exactly as it was intended. And we're going to elaborate about that. Let's roll this fire, and I'll see you on the other side. So in today's word games, we have the Misinformation edition. That label seems to be selective as to who it attaches itself to. But rest assured, even if you saw something, heard something, experienced something, you may well be misinformed, because apparently that's just how the narrative works. I mean, science. That's how science works. It is an issue that has reached this guy's basement, and is so serious that our commander-in-chief finds it more dangerous to our democracy than his own presidency. Imagine that. But worry not. Him, among others, have taken measures to address it and fix it. And going by his excellent history of fixing stuff, rest assured we're in good hands. Right. So let's dive into what the heck is it? How did it get here? How is played? But most importantly, why? I invite you to join me, if of course you dare to engage in this dangerous act of thinking, and let's see if there's anything we can find out. Now, if your preferred method of thinking is Google, it is still okay. Most of us are familiar with the movie Hunger Games. Remember that one? Well, it's a movie, it's fiction, and kind of thinking about it right now, I think we're well on track for this thing to become a reality, thanks to these people. Oops, I'm sorry, I meant this guy. Fucking real. Unlike that movie Hunger Games, the word games, or word salads or word soups, is very real. Not only is very real, but is also very effective. And mostly that is because of what I like to refer to as the relentless pursuit of perfection of the act of manipulation. Information, which has been spoon-fed to us by our distribution networks, like these guys right here. And all is happening in the name of safety and for a better world, a better tomorrow, a better future for us and our children. But now, don't get me wrong. I need to clarify what all means. Okay? All of us means that a certain skin tone, a certain country of origin, and a certain sexual orientation, among other minute things, has to be met to be included in this all. Unless, of course, all those things I just mentioned happen to be coexist with what somebody referred to as
what I call the basket of deplorables.
Yeah, I tried to email this chick to address this deplorable thingy, but all I got back was bleach and BlackBerry commercials. Whatever happened with that case anyway? Yeah, well, that's not an emergency right now. We'll have other things more important than that one. Now, if you're the type that sees everything I just said as bullshit, well, congratulations. You reaffirmed what misinformation meant ever since the human ability to speak. Now, if you're the type that sees what I just said as misinformation or disinformation, well, this video is for you also. Maybe by the end of it, you'll be able to learn the non-existing difference between misinformation, lies, and bullshit. But now, to be honest, there might be some rare occasions that a slight difference between misinformation and bullshit does actually exist, but we'll get to that later. In the meantime, do this. I appreciate it. Now, with that out of the way, I am glad you're still here, and I am glad that you chose the red pill. So let's go down the rabbit hole and become the one. And remember, there's only one thing better than the one, and that would be many ones. You would think, with approximately 81 million pills consumed back in 2020, we would be in short supply. But apparently, we're in short supply of the red ones. But what concerns me is that there is no demand for those red ones. And that is the issue. So before we dive into this misinformation thingy, since it's a small ingredient in this world salads, a good question would be, who came up with this recipe? And that, my friends, is very easy to do. It requires no research. All we have to do is go back. Think back a little bit, not too far back. I would say around 2007, 2008. That was, at least in my opinion, the first time that lies and bullshit was disguised as information. And it was spread globally from one of the highest positions this nation has to offer. Occupied by, yes, you guessed it, none other than Barry. How he did that, you may ask? Well, it's very simple. In addition to all the crap he spewed, like this,
because some of those jobs of the past are just not going to come back. What magic wand do you have? And usually the answer is he doesn't have an answer.
Barry bundled up all of the shit we see on a daily basis in TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. And he famously called it giving voice to the people. And if you look around you, by God, he delivered. Like, let's go over some examples. Oh man, how's that for information? Periods are not just for women. Now listen, I know that's an old picture, but I have to bring it up because I need to make a point. Okay? If this would have happened 20 years ago, which I don't think it would, but let's say it did, okay? Any one of us would actually go up to this person and be like, listen, are you okay? Are you hurt? You need help? At the very least, we will offer them a box of tampons. Go ahead and do that now. And let's see who's going to be needing psychiatric help. Them or you? It would definitely be you. And I don't think there's a cure for all the phobias that you might have. But I digress. She woke up one morning and made a plan. She wrote a sign. She saw the park, the bench, thought about the statement that she was trying to make. And she probably even timed her period and a sunny day to go and sit on a park on a bench to say this shit. And what do? We're like, oh man, this is crazy, this is bullshit, and we kept on moving. We ignored it. You know, as far as this person, let me give you guys two scenarios more plausible than what that sign says. If you have a penis, okay, and you have blood in that vicinity, plausible scenario number one, a busted hemorrhoid. Plausible scenario number two, you got more teeth than the head that you bargained for. In either way, you need to seek medical attention. But guess what? That person in that picture, all she needs is a shower and a tampon. Ain't that some shit? Check this one out. Not that I see it as a competition, obviously. But this one, think about it, okay? She can have a career in beard products and in makeup products. I mean, wow. What did we do? We put her in a magazine, we made her a model, we did this, we did that, and all of us said, you know what, this is crazy, and we kept on moving. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, how is this for misinformation? You really thought those are stretch marks? Apparently not. Those are what they refer to now as tiger stripes. And apparently there's a big demand for them. I mean, she's modeling. What did we do? We saw this and said, whatever, and kept on moving. Let's go to the next one. Another classic. And another time that we said, you know what, liberal tears or whatever the case might be, whatever. But let me tell you what this thing initiated, okay? This is how cry closets, comfort dogs, and hot chocolates came to be. And once again, what do? The same thing. We said liberal tears, whatever, F you, whatever the hell might be, and kept on moving. We ignored it. This is why we got where we are today. Because we ignored it when we should have nipped it in the butt right there and then. Because this is what they're doing now, nipping it in the butt. Every time you're going to go ahead and say something that is against the narrative, whole hell is going to come down on you. You have a platform, even worse. Cancel them, ban them, whatever. Shut them down. Don't let that escape. But anyway, we're going to have some more examples. Let's go to the next one.
Black women, when we do the same diets as white women, we lose less weight and we lose it slower. The racism that you're experiencing and the struggle to make ends meet actually means the diet don't work for you the same.
And with this one has the simple answer for everything. For every failure, okay, is racism. It must be. It's not your mouth and it's not how much food you consume. It must be the racism. Because you do the diet, it just doesn't work because of racism. Now, even diets are racism. You know what? She's a politician. She has a career. She has a platform, and she's saying this to a bunch of other people that are there eating the shit that comes out of her mouth. But nobody's telling her, listen, you know what? This is misinformation, because that's considered to be information. That is, that's how it is, and it's time for all of us to wake up and combat this for a better world, for a better future, for a better tomorrow, for our children. Let's move on.
White people are racist. So I put this up because I really want any white person in the room to know up front that this is what we're dealing with.
Apparently that's not racism. Apparently that's not systemic racism. Yeah, you better eat it. Try being of any other color and do that. But anyway, next one.
Black people and people of color in the queer community aren't seen by white queers as queer as they are.
And according to this one, young lady, probably college student, the future of America, okay? Her complaint is because of racism, she's not being seen as queer enough. Wow. Let's go to the next one.
These are not my preferred pronouns. These are my pronouns. You will use them, or you will not refer to me.
How was that for inclusive? You know, all those people that they claim, about making everything inclusive, are the most exclusive people I've ever met in my entire life. This is not about inclusivity. This is about you accepting what they're telling you to accept, and that's that. And if you don't, you're sick. You have a phobia. You have something. How is that fair? Oh, you know what else is not racism? Check this clip out.
I need all white people to move to the back. This is a black and brown resistance march. If you are for this march and you are here in support, you will appropriately take your place in the back of this march.
This is unity by division. This is unity by segregation. But you know what the problem is? It's a free country. She can say whatever the heck she wants to say. The irony is there is a bunch of white people over there willingly taking their seat in the back. See, I don't mind you supporting them. It doesn't matter. The cause is right, wrong, whatever. Okay? You feel like you want to support them, we're going to support them. But now I'm going to be criticized if I say, hey, listen, you know what? There's nothing more racist than this shit. Could you imagine anybody of any other color telling somebody of a specific color, hey, listen, you take your appropriate place in the back? I mean, that happened, okay? Back in, I don't know, before the civil rights movements and all this kind of shit, we fixed it. But you know what we're doing now? We're trying to manifest it back in existence. Why? We'll get to that soon. I left the best for last, I think, okay? Because this one tops the chart, okay? This is evolution. Check this out.
Time people ask me the same questions over and over again. My name's Farah. I am a trans woman as well as an intersex woman. My pronouns are she, her, they, them, or your grace. My eyes are tattooed. My nose is a piercing. I identify as a threat, a nightmare, and a goddess, so please bow down to me. I do not believe in God, I don't worship the devil, but yes, I am a Satanist, which means I am my own God and I worship myself. Thank you. Have a good day.
This one is a little bit of everything and nothing, all at the same time. You know, I was thinking, right? Imagine if we ever reach a point that we're going to launch a mission to discover extraterrestrial life. I, for one, think that this is the best candidate to represent all kinds of humanity and send her meet an alien. As a matter of fact, if Elon ever sees this thing, Mr. Musk, okay, I say you send this one out to space, preferably with a bathing suit. What Barry initiated has been cultivated and continues to do so up to this day by people that follow his legacy. But Barry deserves his own time in the spotlight, so that will come another day. So now back to the ingredient of misinformation, making it all the way to the #1 spot, all the way up to the White House. Let's see what our commander-in-chief had to say.
What's your message to platforms like Facebook?
They're killing people. I mean, it really, look, the only pandemic we have is among the unvaccinated. And they're killing people.
Oh, wow. Apparently Facebook is killing people. But wait, there's more.
Facebook isn't killing people. These 12 people are out there giving misinformation. Anyone listening to it is getting hurt by it. It's killing people.
Oh, wow. I guess Facebook is not killing people. But wait, there's more.
The misinformation came from 12 individuals. That's what the article said.
So apparently there's 12 individuals that are killing people via Facebook. Holy fucking shit. But like I said earlier, our commander-in-chief is a doer. So this is what he did.
Some of big tech's top executives are taking questions from Capitol Hill on the spread of misinformation.
Now, this congressman, I have no idea who he is, and I really don't care to know who he is. What I care about is the effort that he puts into finally straighten this thing out, all in the name of our safety. Check it out.
Violence. In mid-December, you stopped promoting high-quality news outlets for election content at a time when the disinformation was at its height.
Our misinformation is at the highest level. How could you do that? Oh, I guess he was talking about another type of misinformation, the election misinformation. But the election misinformation is not what you think. What you actually think is the actual misinformation that they're trying to combat. But let's see, because this guy's a dog. He's like out there. He's making things happen.
It's like you gin this up. Your algorithms make it possible to supercharge these kinds of opinions. I think we're here because of what these platforms enable, how your choices, put our lives and our democracy at risk.
Yes, our democracy is at risk by the misinformation, not by votes. Yeah, our democracy at risk because of misinformation. That's right. I agree with that. That our democracy is at risk because of misinformation, but we just disagree on what part is information and what is misinformation. Because what happened is everything that is not the narrative that they want to push or that is already being pushed is misinformation. That's it. Don't you dare say anything else.
I want to start by asking all three of you if your platform bears some responsibility for disseminating disinformation.
And of course, he wants accountability. Are you surprised? So do we. But anyway.
Why have your companies allowed accounts that repeatedly offend your vaccine disinformation policies to remain up? I mean, according to report, just 12 accounts on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram account for 65% of all the vaccine disinformation on your platforms.
Now, not only he wants accountability, and he wants those three big platforms to take responsibility for their actions, for allowing us or allowing someone to spread misinformation. The 12 super spreaders that, our commander-in-chief said before. So he's not content with that. He wants action. Why are you allowing them? What the hell? I mean, how democratic is that? Why are you allowing them? It's a platform, it's a social media. This is Facebook, Twitter. Why are you allowing them? Who is he to tell them what we're allowed to do and say on a social media? I mean, I understand corporations have their own thing, whatever, but you know what? Democracy is democracy. But not according to this guy. Democracy is what he says it is.
Down today, you still have 12 people up on your site doing this. Will you take them down?
He's relentless. Will you take them down?
Will you all commit to taking these platforms down today?
He gonna let go. Will you commit today to take him down? I mean, listen, that's how serious this misinformation shit is.
We've removed over 850,000 videos in
If you remove them all, do you still have people that are spreading disinformation on your platforms? There's about 12 super spreaders.
I don't care how many you removed. Apparently, they're still there. I want all of them. Every little trace. This is like dictator. I mean, I've seen Maduro talking in Venezuela, and this guy's here is even worse. But anyway, we got Zach to the rescue. He gave us all the information we need because we're misinformed as far as to what happened. Check this one out. I think this guy's an alien. I mean, I don't know. Maybe him and Satanist person that we saw earlier. Maybe they should get together, have a coffee or something. But look, let's see what Zach had to say, because Zach has the answer.
Independent analysis has shown that despite all the things that Facebook did during the election, users still interacted with election misinformation roughly 1.1 billion times over the last year.
We did our part to secure the integrity of the election. And then, on January 6th, President Trump gave a speech rejecting the results and calling on people to fight.
Such an amazing effort to curb misinformation, ironically, being made by those that actually spread the misinformation. I mean, if this is not violating every single right there is, and again, I understand, private corporations have their own rules, whatever, but now you have a congressman, okay, elected at his position by his constituents, and he's out there demanding you stop everything else that he disagrees on, okay? That was about, just in case, just to get you guys going, this was about, well, I cannot say the word because there's a rhythm of algo backwards. So it's about this pandemic VDOC backwards. It was also about the insurrection, another risk to our democracy, and how Facebook allowed and other big platforms allowed people to actually gather and do something about it. Okay? So listen, I don't agree with violence, but this shit, it has to stop. This is getting to be a little bit too long, and I know it's kind of abrupt. There's a lot more things to talk about. I'm going to give you guys a little hint. What's on part 2? It has to do with the initials JR, and also has to do, another little hint would be word ownership. We're in a very, very, very bad state of affairs right now. There is a lot of stuff that is going on that we just can no longer ignore and keep it moving. It has to be addressed. I'm going to tell you guys on the next video on part 2. We're going to go over a few methods maybe that we should do, something that it should happen to address all these things that is happening, because this destruction is happening from within. And it's a shame for that to happen in this amazing nation. So anyway, I want to let you guys go. There is an outro, and sometimes there is something after the outro. I'll see you guys on the next one. God bless. Wait. What? I never said I'm always right. I don't know where you come up with shit like that. I never said I'm always right. Man, women. Cheers.